Hi, I'm Paris, and several viewers have requested that I try out the airhawk Pro. This is a portable air compressor. It has a built-in rechargeable battery. It can also run off your car battery, so you can use it for tires. When you get out to the campground, it can inflate air mattresses as well as inner tubes for swimming. All sounds good in theory. How's it going to work in practice?
Epic Review Guys.
This is an as seen on TV product. I ordered it online from their website. Costs about $60. You can find it at a few other places now. I'll put a link to it down below this video. It's heavy, but of course it should have a big lithium battery in it. And it looks like a drill. This is the airhawk Pro. I didn't know there was a regular airhawk. I think they're all airhawk Pros. The battery is yet more weight that goes on this. The battery clicks on here. Here's the needle valve for inflating balls, for inflating larger objects. And this will be for inflating the tires. They all attach here. And on the back there's an LED readout. This will tell you, they say approximately your tire pressure currently, and you can set it for the pressure you want to fill it up to, so you don't have to keep taking this off and taking your tire gauge to check the pressure. This will automatically stop when it gets to the pressure you set. Here's the battery that clicks onto the bottom of this. That's what they say. Make sure it's turned off first. Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay. Oh, LED's lit up. And then it comes with this, which I thought was a second battery, which kind of surprised me. But no, it looks exactly the same because it's going to attach to the same spot. But it has a very long cord with a cigarette lighter adapter, so you can plug this into the cigarette lighter of your car. And the long cord is so you can take it around to the tires and use it as an air compressor running off your car battery. This is the charger to charge it up from the mains. It takes about 3 hours to charge up the battery that's in this base, and I'll have to do that before I use it again. So I don't like having all the separate pieces. They do include a case to put them all in. Now if they'll all fit in here easily and neatly, I'll actually use this. Otherwise I won't, and then yeah, I'll be inclined to lose one or more of these pieces. Just took a few different rearrangements. I finally found one that does work. But I found a couple interesting points here I thought I'd mention under safety. One is, never allow anyone to pump air into eyes, ears, nose, etc. of people. I hate having air pumped into my etc. The battery pack is supposed to hold a charge that will go for about 15 minutes of continuous use, and they also say the most you can use it at once, doesn't matter if your air raft is only half inflated, 15 minutes of use and then 15 minutes of cool down, then you can do another 15 minutes of use. Out here at the minivan, let's see what kind of tire pressures I'm currently running on this. I've got my whole airhawk kit here out of the case. I've also brought out my plug-in compressor. This pressure gauge is very accurate to within half a pound, so let's see what it says, and then we'll see what the airhawk says the current pressure is. 32.5. When I press to power this on, okay, it's PSI. It does have settings for metric as well. I'm seeing if I can just push it on briefly to get the pressure, but no, you have to screw this on in order for it to both pump air in and tell you the current pressure. Let's see what it shows. It's showing 31, whereas my accurate gauge showed 32.5. It lost a little. It should be at 32 at the lowest. So it's within a pound of being accurate, I guess. Now this tire is supposed to be at 33, so I'm going to, oh, no. Let's go 33. That's what I want it to go to. So now I'm going to squeeze the trigger to inflate. Gotta squeeze it and let go. It's going pretty quickly. It should set off at 33. Last half pound. There we go, 33. Well, at 33 for a while, it doesn't seem to be setting itself off. Okay, Now it's decided it was at 33. Okay, I'll take this off and measure it with my other gauge. Well, 34.5. So that's what I thought. The airhawk pressure gauge runs a little on the low side. This is actually now a little overinflated. Onto the back tire, which is currently at 32.5 psi, same as the front. I'm now going to try out the Goodyear i8000. This is my plug-in air compressor pump. See how long it takes to fill it up and see how accurate this gauge is. This isn't a digital gauge, so it's a little harder to read, but it looks to me like it's right at 32, so it is a little closer, a little more accurate than the airhawk. Let me turn this on and see how long it takes to pump it up to 33. There's no preset on this where you can set it pressure and it will automatically shut off. You got to keep your eye on it. And that puts it now at about 34, 35. So it was pretty quick to fill it up. Let me double check that with my pressure gauge. Well, I got it up to 33. It shows that this analog gauge really isn't the most accurate. I have the airhawk plugged into the cigarette lighter of the car. I prefer not to use it this way. I've heard stories about air pumps that plug into your cigarette lighter doing unpleasant things to your electrical system if they draw too much electricity. But I will try it out here just to make sure that it does work. There we go. Walking around to the other tires here, thinking of keeping this and using it sort of as an all-in-one tire gauge and air pump. Well, it is quite a bit bigger for a pressure gauge, but it's also not possible to just run this up to the valve and get a quick pressure. You have to take the time to actually screw it all the way on and then check it. It's not telling me the pressure. Let me unplug the battery and try again. Well, I'm not sure why it won't give me a reading on this tire. Well, the inaccurate pressure gauge may no longer be an issue because all it ever shows now is 0. I've removed the attachment from the front here and reattached it. What happened when it stopped working was this entire front hose piece that's attached right onto here actually flew off. And the other piece was attached to the valve of the tire. So basically the tire was quickly uninflating. I had to unscrew it quickly. This was still running. And then when I shut it off, plug this back in, turn it back on, now all I get is a reading of 0. Also filling up the rear tire that I had worked on before to get it up to the level I wanted. This shut off after about a minute. It showed a reading of 0. I don't know if when it shows no back pressure that it only runs for about a minute, but it ran for a minute and then it just stopped. So then I had to turn it back on and I was able to put the air up to the pressure that I wanted. Yep, it decided it had had enough, just like before. And I don't know if that's because it's showing just 0 as the pressure reading, or it's something else going on. The pressure was at 32 after that, I don't know, was that about a minute that it ran? Now it's at 33, so it is still putting air in, I just can't use the gauge on the airhawk at all anymore. To try the airhawk with something that requires more volume than pressure, I have a basketball. Normally, we fill this with this $10 foot pump that has a needle attached. Now they do include the ball needle here. I don't like the sound of that. But I don't know, let's see, if it goes on the end of this, it'll be okay. If it has to attach there, you really have to get close to the object. Let's see. Oh, it seems to work here. Okay. The pressure doesn't matter, you just go by how the ball feels. It's not completely flat, but it certainly could use some air. I learned this, I don't know if it's a wives' tale or something, but that you should moisten the needle before inserting. This will only hurt for a little while. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think that's good. Does work for that. There's one other attachment which is for really high volume items like an air mattress or a raft, something like that, which I don't have handy. It's not that far along in the spring here yet, but I'll see how much air does come out of this. Pretty good. I just now noticed that it has a little light in the front as well. That could be handy when you're inflating things in the dark. Well, with the airhawk, I'm disappointed that maybe I broke, but in any case, the pressure gauge is broken and that it only seems to go for about a minute continuously before shutting off. Whether or not that's related to the pressure gauge issue, it's a good idea, and I really want to have something portable that I can keep in the car. It would be nice to be able to use something like this to top it off, even to fill up a tire, without having to rely on the Fix-A-Flat. This one is actually from Mexico. When we used to drive there every year. It's all in Spanish. And then there's the price. For $60, I would expect things wouldn't break and act weird. It should be a fairly sturdy, reliable device for that much money. So for the time being, for me, it's either keep this in the car charged up, because again, I don't like plugging it into the cigarette lighter and running it for any length of time to pump up the tire just in case something electrical will happen, or keep my can of Inflayantas in the car just in case. The llantas, I always thought this was the llantas, but I may have to check my Spanish. I certainly don't want any further inflation of this spare tire. Find out more about the AirHawk Pro at the link down below this video. I'll be back soon with more reviews. You can keep checking back for those, or you can click that subscribe button down below. You'll get notified when our videos go up. See you on the next review.
Epic review, guys. Wanna watch it all?